here on the shores of San Francisco Bay. I'm your host, Elise Zwick, and I'm speaking to you live from the SailGP event village with a stunning view of our race course, which includes two local icons, Alcatraz Island and the Golden Gate Bridge. Well, this is it, the grand final of Season 3. And after 10 spectacular events around the world, it all comes down to this weekend and the chance to win sailing's biggest prize of $1 million. And of course, the ultimate bragging rights in the sport. This weekend, not just one champion will be crowned, we will have two. The overall championship winner and also our Impact League winner, the team that has had the greatest impact on the planet throughout the season. So who will our top two podiums be and who will be in that all-important Final 3 on Sunday afternoon? The only way to find out is to speak to the main players that will be out there on the water. So please welcome our first four SailGP drivers. Fourth place in the standings and chasing down France for that last grand final spot, it's the greatest Olympian of all time, Sir Ben Ainslie of the Emirates Great Britain SailGP team. Second place in the season standings and fellow Olympic gold medalist, it's New Zealand driver Peter Burling. A winner of 2 events this season and holding on to the last grand final spot, Quentin Delapierre of the France SailGP team. And our 2-time defending SailGP champion, and yep, you guessed it, another gold medalist, Mr. Tom SLINGSBY of the Australia SailGP team. Thank you all for being here. We have made it once again. Let's go ahead and start with you, Tom. Top of the leaderboard this year, 2-time SailGP champion. Are you going to try to win both the Mubadala United States Sail Grand Prix and the season championship, or are you mainly going to work on preparing for the final race?
For us, Team Australia, I think we're going to, essentially, the goal will be to do what we did last year. We were able to win the San Francisco event before the final $1 million race and then go on to win that. And for us, I think that's going to be the goal. I don't feel like I'm a sailor who can go out there and just deliver the boat round in the first 5 races and get 7th, 8th, 9th places and then all of a sudden turn it on and win the last race. I think myself and our team are a bit of a confidence team, and we need to be sailing well and be in a good position heading into that final race. So we're going to go out there and try to win the San Francisco event and hopefully be high on confidence, and that'll give us a good shot in the final.
And how do you keep that confidence high?
Results is a big player, but it's a feeling, I guess. It's in Christchurch. We didn't win that event. We finished 3rd, but on the second day there, we felt like we were sailing really well. We felt like we were getting back to our best. And so we came out of Christchurch actually really happy. It almost felt like we won the event just for a personal, mental confidence point of view. So it's really a feeling out on the water. So even if we don't win the San Francisco event here, but we're feeling good in ourselves, I think we'll do better in that final race.
Let's talk about some of the comments you've said in the past. You said that you actually think that Quentin and the French are more dangerous than the Brits. So who would you prefer takes that 3rd spot?
I don't think I said that. I know I didn't say that. It got changed around a bit. Honestly, for us, we don't mind who wins out of these guys. May the best team win. For us, it doesn't faze us at all. Honestly, we probably won't even be watching that. We know that both teams are extremely dangerous, and on their day they can beat us comfortably. So it's really got nothing to do about them and who we're racing. It's got to do with us. And we know if we put our best team on the water, we've got a very good chance of winning. And so we've had events this year where we haven't sailed well, and these teams just can easily beat us in that final race. So we're not going to worry about that at all. May the best team win, and we'll see them in the final.
How do you make a 3-peat possible?
I think I've spoke about it a bit. It's a confidence thing, but for us, it's a simple race. I mean, it's a simple sport if you do the simple things right. Get a good start, don't make mistakes, sail the boat fast, do what we know we can. But at a venue like San Francisco, it's windy. We're up against the best teams in the world, and they're going to be trying to rattle you, put you off your game, get you to fall off your foils. All these little things that can really just take us down. And so we just really got to concentrate on ourselves, make sure we do the small things right. And I feel like we're in a good position. We're the only team who's been to the final race before, and so as much nerves as we have, I think that the other teams might have a bit more nerves heading into that final. So that's a nice place to be, and we're confident heading into the weekend.
Thank you, Tom. Well, let's go over to you, Peter. We've been talking about a little bit of confidence here. Are you feeling confident against the Australians?
Yeah, I think similar to Tom, for ourselves, we're really happy with the progress we've made this season. We really feel like we've stepped things up a whole heap, and to have a few points up our sleeve going into this weekend, we're kind of similar. We're looking to go out and try and put together a really solid event and put ourselves into the final in good shape.
How much would you say that mind games go into the final race?
Yeah, I don't think a whole heap, especially because it's 3 boats in the final, and if you focus too much on one of them, the third one will probably go out there and win it. So you've got to make sure you're in the best possible shape. We've had some great battles with all 3 of the teams to my right throughout this season, and we're looking forward to a really fun weekend ahead. And I think as a group we really enjoy these moments where you get to go out and test yourself against the best sailors in the world, and that's exactly what we've got this weekend.
And what would a win out here in the San Francisco Bay feel like?
It'd be absolutely amazing. I think as one of the newer teams here still, to be able to go out there and get a win would be a huge milestone for us as a group. But we're not getting ahead of ourselves. Firstly we've got to make it through to the final, which we'll be trying to do in the next 5 races, and then try and make sure we get there in the best possible shape.
Talk to us about the amazing event in Christchurch. You were so proud in so many ways, but it was a bit gutting to not win your home event.
That's sport. I think for ourselves, we were absolutely blown away by the support we got from the Kiwi fans. I think that was the coolest thing for us, and to see so many people at an event cheering us on, the atmosphere. It was such a fun event, and just amazing to finally have a home event. As a relatively new team, to see that much local support was pretty amazing. And I think as a group we set the benchmark pretty high. We went through the fleet racing part of the series on top, and couldn't quite get the job done in the final, but we threw everything at Canada, managed to claw back a pretty healthy lead, and couldn't quite get the job done, but we came out of that event with a lot of confidence.
And would you prefer the French or GBR in the final?
I think either or. They're both great teams. Personally, we're just worrying about ourselves, making sure we make it through and are ready to go come that final race. And that's what the whole season's been about, making sure that you're prepared for the final, and we're just looking forward to doing that.
Thank you. Well, Ben, it's been a remarkable season for you. Pretty much you've had everything other than an event win, and yet here you are 1 point out of the grand final. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, it's been an up and down season. I think it has been for all of the teams. Every team's had its moments. For us, certainly losing the event in Copenhagen was a tough one, but we've managed to sort of just about hang in there and give ourselves a chance going into this final San Francisco event to get into the grand final. So in a way, we've got 0 to lose and everything to gain, which is not a bad place to be. That said, we're going to have to battle incredibly hard just to make it into the final. But if we do, then we'll be battle hardened and ready for a full-on race and give it everything we can to get the win.
And you said on the last episode of Racing on the Edge that Kenton is the most impressive sailor in SailGP right now. How are you planning to beat him?
Well, he paid me to say that. In all seriousness, I stand by that, and I think the French team, so Quentin and the team have done a fantastic job. Honestly, look, last season was struggling, and Quentin came in and has really helped to turn the team around, and it's really impressive to see their performance this season. It's going to be very, very tough to get past them, or potentially New Zealand. To get into that final spot, but that's what we want to be there. We want to be racing against the best teams, and we enjoy those high pressure moments, so looking forward to it.
So do you think it will be aggressive racing?
I don't know. I mean, everyone talks about a great quote, boxing, I think it's Mike Tyson said, everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face, right? So I don't know how it's going to play out. It's definitely going to be dynamic.
You might not have won an event all season, but the data from Oracle Insights say that you are the fastest in a straight line. Does that give you confidence going into this final?
I guess it means we should probably tack and jibe less and we'd be defined. But yeah, I mean, we sail the boat well. You know, I think we can sail the boat pretty much as well as the other teams. Ultimately, you know, if you look at this season, we've probably been too conservative at times, haven't pushed hard enough. Maybe that's you know, on the back of the previous season where we had a few issues. But, you know, we're here, we're in with a good chance, and that's where we need to be. But, you know, whoever wins is going to have earned it this weekend. They're going to have to sail incredibly well. So it's time, you know, all the teams are going to have to step up.
Have you changed your strategy for the weekend?
Yeah, certainly. Well, the strategy will be different to the rest of the league season. You know, I touched on it earlier. We had some issues last season. We won a couple of events, but we had some major setbacks which took us out of the running. So this season for us was all about trying to settle things down, get some consistency. We haven't won an event this season, which is not perfect. That certainly wasn't the plan going into the season, but like I said, we're still in the game. And as I said, we need to step it up. All of the teams are going to need to step it up to perform at their best, and that will decide the winner.
Some say you're the underdog. How does that make you feel?
I hadn't really thought about it like that. Yeah, it's not a bad place to be, the underdog, but I think if you look at the level of the competition and the type of racing that we're at, you know, there's jeopardy is written all over this thing. And I don't think anyone can really be going into it thinking they're top dog or underdog. I think it's going to be flat-out race, and it's going to be an incredible spectacle.
Thank you. Kenton, over to you. When the season started, did you think that you would be sitting here in this position?
Well, I mean, that was our ambition with Bruno Dubois, to be able to catch a final spot in the super final here in San Francisco. So, I mean, the opportunity is just in front of us. I'm really proud of that, and I think we deserve our position today.
Do you find sitting next to some of the arguably three of the best sailors in the world, is that intimidating?
It's an honor and exciting. It's not intimidating, no.
You have seemed to have earned the respect of Tom and Ben, but they might have an even deeper respect if you won the final. How does that make you feel?
I mean, Ben and Tom achieve almost everything in our sport, so they inspired generation, and I'm part of this new generation. So, I mean, in France we say merci messieurs, and yeah, I mean, we'll see this week.
We've talked about being aggressive this weekend. How have you prepared tactically?
We had discussion inside the team to define the strategy for San Francisco weekend. I'm really confident because every member of the team just agreed on the strategy, and they are full convinced. I think we have good strength in our team, in the French team. Our start is way better than it was, and yeah, we can make it.
You had a dominating performance in Sydney, 3 race wins in one day, but Christchurch was a disappointment. Can you walk us through what went wrong there?
Christchurch was a difficult event. We had some technical issue the first day, but it was manageable. And the second day, we were able to make the final as the Brits. And I mean, we had a tough battle with Ben and the Brits on the last start, and we were at the back of the fleet and able to come back. A special windward gate rounding just was really painful because we didn't make the final.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And what will it mean in France if you qualify for the final?
It means a lot because I think the French sailing nation is pretty famous on offshore sailing, but never been on the America's Cup or the SailGP. So I think we have something to achieve, a lot of determination in our team, and yeah, just exciting. And I just want to enjoy this racing weekend.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, gentlemen. And you've been talking about the aggression you're going to have out there and what it may look like for us this weekend, we'd like to ask a few questions from online fans and, of course, any in the media now. So if anyone has a question that they would like to ask our panel, if you could please raise your hand and we'll bring you the mic.
Good morning, Mark Reed, Latitude 38. Peter Burling, you've had some bugs and gremlins on your boat, left some points on the board, which I'm sure is frustrating. What do you need to do to kind of unpack these boats when you get them to a new venue and then really put the throttle down? What's involved to kind of get the bugs out?
Yeah, well, the biggest bugs we've had have actually been when we haven't been on our boat. Looking back at Sydney, we had some pretty big issues on board, but yeah, today's really all about that. You know, that's what our practice day is for, going out and making sure the boat's at 100%. You know, the tech team does a amazing job checking everything off, checking all the electronic, the hydraulic systems, the structures, and then, we get to go out racing. So, there's always a risk, but we do everything we can to make sure the boat's 100% and working.
And I think we had another question right over here. I'll just bring you the mic.
We'll turn it on, eh? Just one for Tom and Peter. Regardless of what happens on Sunday, will you guys share a beer afterwards?
Never. No. No, of course. If you see just before this, we're sitting over there chatting. Obviously, it gets played up in the media, the rivalry, but no, I think we're good mates. We have been for a long time. Pete was training partners to a good friend of mine, Nathan Outridge, back in the Olympics in 2012, and so we've had a friendship since then. For me, like, we're here, you're in SailGP to compete against the best people, and there's no hard feelings. He's doing everything he can to win for his team, as I am for my team. And as frustrated as I get on the water sometimes, and I look back at it and cringe and go, geez, you didn't have to say that, especially over a radio or something. I think Pete knows it's all in the heat of battle, and everything that gets done on the water, we let it go, and we'll share a beer at the end of this.
And over here.
Question for Tom, since you won here last year. Can you take us through the specificity of the race in San Francisco, and what can we expect as far as condition goes? Is it more complicated than other races? How do you see it?
San Francisco's unbelievable venue. As we know, it's kind of like a wind factory, and you get very consistent breezes here. The F50 is made, its perfect wind condition is about, I'd say 15 to 18 knots, flat water, and that's generally what we get here. The forecast for the weekend looks great, from what I'm seeing anywhere sort of from 12 to 18 knots. But then it's very tricky out there with the current. I'm fortunate, like a few people here who've lived here, trained here, learned a lot about the conditions, and that helped us last year do well. Last year in the final, it ended up something we've never seen, you don't really ever see before. I think I lived here for 2 years and I didn't see it blow from the city front out in those 2 years, and that happened for the final. So, but I don't think we'll have those conditions. I think we'll have typical San Francisco conditions. I was going to say warm and windy, but I'll say cold and windy, and really nice conditions. So it should, on paper, it should be a really great final.
Jim Callanan, Fox Sports Sky News Australia. My question's actually for Ben. Ben, it's about Tom though. Given your resume and tag of being the best sailor of your generation, given Tom's resume, should he get the three-peat, where would that place him in the standings as best sailor in the world at the moment?
Well, I think Tom and the Aussie team, their performance so far this season, they're the standout team. I sort of talked about Quentin and Team France, their trajectory from last season, but for Tom and the Aussies to have the points gap that they do going into this final, that's seriously impressive. So, I think Tom's results already in his career put him right at the top of the sport, and if they win again, get the three-peat, that's unrivaled really in this new era of SailGP.
And just a quick follow, if you don't mind. Are you actually in a sweet spot here? All the pressure seemingly on the three men next to you. We know what happens when your back's against the wall. Is this the best place to be for you and Team GB?
Well, technically speaking, we can't go backwards. So we've got to try and go forwards. That's the goal. And like I said, we haven't won an event all season. So if there's ever a time to pull our fingers out and get ourselves on top, now's it.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, and good luck this weekend. That'll wrap it up for this group. But before we welcome our second group of athletes, we'll take a quick break to reset. So just please stay in your seats, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. Let's give them a round of applause heading into an exciting weekend ahead. Go ahead and get things started with our second group. We're underway here at the opening press conference for the Mubadala SailGP Season 3 Grand Final. Let's go ahead and bring in our wonderful athletes, this second group. Racing on home waters is Jimmy Spithill of the United States SailGP team. Fifth on the overall standings, Nikolai Sejested of the Denmark SailGP team, presented by Rockwool. And winner of the last event, it's Phil Robertson, driver of the Canada SailGP team. And making his SailGP San Francisco debut, it's Sebastian Schneider of the Switzerland SailGP team. And driving for just the third time in SailGP this weekend, it's Diego BOTIN of Spain. And we will go right into Jimmy Spithill. Jimmy, let's start with you. Obviously, a very different feeling to this time last season. What went wrong this time around?
Yeah, it's disappointing. I mean, not to be in the main event and in the final. I mean, if you're an NFL team, you want to be in the Super Bowl. So it is disappointing to be back here and not there with a shot. Well, what went wrong was we weren't good enough. We didn't deserve to be in the final. We had an up and down season, really. We had a lot more rotation in the athlete roster than we ever planned to do, unfortunately, with some injuries, sickness, etc. And we just weren't consistent enough on the water. I mean, we won an event, we were in a bunch of the finals, but we also had some bad results on the bottom of the table as well. So, you know, in this league, you can't do that and expect to be in the main event at the end.
How important is a home event win here to build confidence for the team ahead of this next season, season 4?
Yeah, well, that's really the goal for us. I mean, because we're not in the main event, so we really have to go out there and use this to try and build up for season 4. And what better way to do that with a great result in San Francisco? So, yeah, I mean, the next few events really kick off the US leg of season 4. So, yeah, I mean, look, it's just a great opportunity for the team. We're going to have a lot of support here, a lot of fans, friends, family coming into town, and we'd love nothing better than to put on a good performance.
And speaking of next season, there is a huge emphasis, as you said, on the U.S. following the recent announcement that SailGP will race in 3 of the biggest cities in the U.S. next season, and also on the back of the impressive CBS figures. Will this create even more hype in the U.S.?
Well, I mean, the numbers don't lie. And you know, I can sit up here and tell you how good SailGP is, and clearly I'm biased, as are the rest of us. But at the end of the day, you need to look at the numbers, and that's where it's been pretty encouraging, because the United States clearly is just a huge population are sports fans, and you see that right now with the Warriors and the Lakers going head-to-head in town. But to have a sailing championship that is now really starting to hit some big numbers on TV is really unheard of. I mean, our last couple of broadcasts on CBS have, you know, outranked Formula One and a couple other big properties in the US. So to answer your question, yes, people are watching, and I really think SailGP is the catalyst to grow the sport. And we're pretty excited to have a few events now in the US, and that will really take it to another level.
Great. You've sailed with both Ben and Tom, so you know them very well. Who is your money on this weekend, and who will take the championship final?
Well, Ben's got to get into the final first. You know, Tom is in the final, and man, that team has been very, very impressive to, you know, to just set the distance from the rest of the teams and guarantee themselves before sailing San Francisco is very, very impressive. So they will be tough to beat. But any one of those, you know, 4 teams, I guess, that are still in the running can do it. They've shown that. So, yeah, I think it's just too early to say. This event will be a good form guide, though, to see who out of that group is on the top going into that $1 million race.
Thank you, Jimmy. Well, Nikolai, let's go over to you, and let's start with the race on the water. Currently lying 5th overall, a 1-place improvement on last season. What is your summary of the team's performance this year?
Oh, we've just been inconsistent, unfortunately. We've been a bit like Jimmy, up and downs, and as Jimmy said, you just can't afford to be up and down. You need to be quite consistent and in the top of the fleet. So, yeah, we're a bit disappointed that we had a few bad events, especially here in the end of the season, where we were fighting with France and GBR for that final spot. So that's something we need to learn from and grow from, and then take it from there.
Yeah. And one area the team has shown massive improvement in is the Impact League. And I'm excited that we can exclusively reveal that you have toppled the Kiwis and are this year's winner of the Impact League. So what does that mean to this team?
Oh, it's massive for the whole team. It's yeah, we're super stoked and really, really happy to win the Impact League. It's obviously not something that comes easy. It takes a lot of intensity and hard work from the whole team, but also our partners, Rockwell and One Ocean Foundation. It's just been, yeah, it's been a long push, and all these teams sitting up here is really also putting in a lot of work and dedication to win it. So it's not an easy championship to win, and we're really, really happy that we managed to do it this year.
So the prize purse for the Impact League goes to your purpose partner, as you mentioned. Have you told them the good news, and do you know what impact this will have for them?
Yeah, One Ocean Foundation, which is a partner, is very happy with the news, of course. And yeah, the funds is great, and it will give us opportunities to keep doing great initiatives next season. But it's also a responsibility. We have to make sure that we keep, you know, doing a good job, but also use the funds well to create awareness and do fantastic Impact League projects next season. And it's definitely not, you know, we're definitely not going to rest. We already have meetings next week again about the season 4 Impact League, how we can win that, and where we're going to start to get good points from the get-go in Chicago.
Can you tell us what the secret to the Impact League success is, and has Rockwell played a part in that?
There's no secret to it. It's like the sailing. It's just dedication and hard work, and it's also about doing the small things right. It's not just big initiatives and big headlines. You also need to do everyday small things right, from trash and travel and accommodation and so on. And we just been trying to get a complete sort of picture of where we want to be good in all areas, and Rockwool's been a massive part of that from the beginning. And I think there's no chance we'd be winning the Impact League if it wasn't for Rockwool and their support to get us there.
You said some disappointment how season 3 went, but what is the focus now for the team in season 4?
Well, we just want to first of all finish strong off here in San Francisco. We're having training days here, which is really, really good for our team. So I hope we can have one of those events where things go well and we just potentially hopefully win the event. That'll be massive leading up to season 4. But the goal is season 4 is for sure to be sitting here next year, but in the final 3. So we're gonna have to start off on a strong form in Chicago, and I think we have the same goal as any other team. We just got to make sure we do a better job of it, and that's the key.
Thank you, Nikolai. Well, Phil, over to you. You and the team must be riding high after the amazing performance in Christchurch. Walk us through that.
Yeah, look, we're obviously stoked. It was a pretty cool event, and I think the coolest part of it is how well the team came together after what went down in Sydney. And before Christchurch, we didn't have a boat that was sailable. So, we're very happy, and I think it's just a credit to the team and how hard they worked in between those 2 events to get back to firstly racing and then being competitive and getting the job done.
Do you think the podium race in Christchurch is what we might see here? The Kiwis and the Aussies battling it out and leaving an opportunity for the 3rd place team to take the win.
Yeah, I'm a big believer that it's all open once you get to that podium race. It's, what's done is done to that point, and it's wide open. You've got one shot to win one race and win the championship. So it's anyone's game, really. If you win that start, you're in a good position, and you want to be controlling at Mark 1, that's for sure.
If you had to pick one winner right now, who would it be and why?
It's a bit hard to say. I'll just echo my last answer. It's anyone's game when it comes to the final. It's different. There's a few teams with more experience than others in that final, especially the Australians, and they're a very tough team to beat. But you've got 3 other teams that can be there in that final, and man, anyone could hit it home in that one moment.
With the Canadian Sail Grand Prix now on the calendar, although we're still waiting for the big city reveal, it must have meant a lot to show what your team can do in New Zealand.
Yeah, we're obviously pumped to have Canada on the calendar, and that's going to be huge for the team. Will be massive for our athletes as well to be racing in their hometown, and to get an event win is nice to put that behind us. And for sure, when we get to next summer and end up in Canada, we're going to be fighting pretty hard and make sure we're in a good position to have a crack at winning that event.
There are some rumors that the Canadian team, though, may be facing financial challenges. Do you expect to be racing in season 4?
Yeah, look, it's we're a startup, our team, and a new sailing team as well, a new group, and we've done a fantastic job on the water to date, which we're all extremely proud of. And it is challenging financially for all teams here, to be honest. And for us, we've got a fantastic amount of commercial partners and investors in the team, and I can assure you we're going to be doing everything that's possible to be on that start line come Chicago.
Thank you, Phil. Well, Sebastian, we'll go over to you. It's been a learning season for your team. How have you found your first full SailGP season?
Yeah, it's been pretty fantastic. It's quite an experience, to be honest. It's also been really challenging as a new team to jump in a league where other teams have been training and competing for a few years, and it's been a lot of catch up to do without having really extra time to do it. We're just having the same amount of days on the water than everyone. So it's been a really interesting process.
Well, the French are also a pretty new team, yet they are vying for the championship. What is it going to take to move up the leaderboard?
Yeah, I mean, the French have been there for 3 years still. But for us, it's all about consistency. We've shown we can do some race wins. We can have some solid regattas. And for us now, it's all about being consistently in the top half of the leaderboard.
And you arguably have 2 of the most talented foiling sailors in your squad, Glenn Ashby and Nathan Outeridge. How do you plan to use their skills and their knowledge?
Yeah, it's been really great to have them in our team. I think we're extremely lucky to have them help us, and also just the fact that they're really busy men and they're happy to come and help us. It's it's proof that we're doing things right in our team, and from the beginning it's been very clear that they're here to help us, and we're trying to get really independent as a Swiss team with Swiss sailors on board.
And you are fighting with the Spanish at the bottom of the table. How important will it be for team morale to not be last?
Yeah, of course. It's we're thinking a lot about next season already, but for sure, no one wants to finish last. And I think we're all speaking about the grand final, but I think the fight for between Switzerland and Spain is also quite interesting. It's good training for next year, Diego. Hopefully, then we fight for the final spots. But for us, the goal is really to finish the season strong and show what we can do next year. And for sure, we have some high ambitions, and we want to do much better than that.
And it's the first time for you on an F50 here in San Francisco, one of the most iconic places to race. What have you made of the San Francisco Bay race course so far?
Yeah, well, look, we've been sailing yesterday, but in the South Bay, so haven't been really sailing where we'll be racing this weekend. But really looking forward to today, to have some practice out there, and been watching a lot of the races from last year. It's going to be an interesting racing. It's quite big, actually, bigger than where we've been sailing most of the year, and there's been a lot of overtakes last year during the races, so should be quite exciting.
Thank you, Sebastian. Diego, over to you. You and Florian are fresh from dominating the Olympic 49er class at a recent event in France. Are you feeling good about getting back into the F50?
Yeah, the 49er is going well. We had an amazing week last week in Hierges, and it's been 7 weeks since the last event in Christchurch, and we're always excited to go into the SailGP weekend, also in such an amazing, iconic place like San Francisco.
Well, it's always been about season 4 since you took over the driver position. How are you feeling a few events in now as the driver?
Yeah, it's been amazing. Like I feel like I have a way bigger responsibility now, and I'm delighted about the opportunity of being in this position, and it's been an amazing experience until now.
Are you disappointed that you haven't been able to make more of an impact on the team's results since you took over as a driver?
Yeah, as I see it, for sure I'm not disappointed, because I wouldn't change anything we've done until now. It's been quite hard, to be honest, because we weren't even able to go to the sim before jumping in the driver position. Like first time we met with boats, it was in more than 20 knots in Sydney racing, no? And also in these boats, you don't want to crash or do something stupid, because this will hold us back even more, no? Than be a bit more conservative. And we went through that road, so obviously it will take us a bit more time to get there, but it's not like the 49er or the Moth where you can push the limits, crash, and nothing happens, no? So we think we are putting the team on a really nice track. We have really nice people, really good people on the team, and we feel like results will come sooner than later.
Have you spoken to Jordi, and is there a chance that he could be included in the squad for season 4?
Yeah, to be honest, we didn't speak about that. Jordi is a very good sailor, and he will always have the door open, but it's not something we've spoken about yet.
Any worry that in season 4 the Spanish team could be dropped?
I think worrying about that will put us on the back foot. All the focus now on our team is to improve performance and get there as fast as we can. We think that this will put the team in a position where everything needed to stay in the league will come easier. So that's the biggest focus for us now, and that's where we are.
And you're fighting with the Swiss at the bottom of the table. How important is it for your team to not be last?
Yeah, obviously no one wants to be last, no? We are competitive guys in every team, and that's a big thing. But our focus won't be there this weekend. We just want to put our best performance possible out there and see where that takes us.
Wonderful. Well, thank you all so much. We're going to go ahead and open up the floor to questions. If there are any questions, if you'd like to ask our athletes. And we do have a few questions from our online viewers. So we'll start with Phil. This one is from Jackson. How are you feeling about having an event in Canada?
Yeah, Jackson, we're pumped. Yeah, like I think every team's dream is to race at home, and when you get your home crowd behind you, you go to another level. So for us, it will be a huge moment to hit the water in Canada.
And Jimmy, over to you. What is your light wind game plan?
I'm not sure I'm going to need that here in San Francisco. So I'm going to worry about my heavy air game plan.
Great. Now, Seb, over to you from Ross. Is there a time when the tech tells you to do something that's opposite to your instincts?
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes I think you gotta trust your feeling as well. But the data is really good to tell you if you're doing something wrong. So yeah, it's a fine line for sure.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, and enjoy your time out there. And that is really all we have for our press conference today. So just a reminder that racing will get underway this Saturday and Sunday, May 6th and 7th, just after 2:30. Tickets are almost sold out on the shore, so if you want to watch the racing, book now at sailgp.com/San Francisco. And for the fans in the United States, the racing will be on CBS Sports and stream live on YouTube all weekend. Head to sailgp.com/watch for details of how to see the action around the world. Good luck to our amazing teams this weekend, and thank you all for joining us. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here.